To make the cake, we're going to be using two different kinds of cake batter. I'm going to be using chocolate and vanilla. Whatever kind you want is totally up to you. And then for our pies, I'm going to be using an 8-inch pumpkin, an 8-inch apple, and an 8-inch cherry. I've done all three of these pies on our channel, and I'll put a link to all three of them in the description box. Now, we're also going to be using 6 cups of whipping cream. And then for garnishing the top of the cake, I've just got some nice bright fruits, strawberries, kiwis, blueberries, and raspberries. So what I have in front of me is my vanilla cake batter, and I also have a 9-inch baking pan to go with my 8-inch pie. You want to make sure that when you put the pie into the cake pan, that the cake pan is slightly larger than the actual pie. So the first thing I want to do is I want to be able to cover the bottom with cake batter. So I'm just going to put a thin layer. You want it to be about probably about 1 inch, 2 centimeters in thickness. So I'm going to just make sure that all gets in there, and then I'll be back. So I have my thin layer of batter on the bottom, and what that's going to do is it's going to prevent the pie from burning while we rebake it. So you're going to take your pie out of your pie pan, just going to slide it out here, and then place it into the center like that. And then you're just going to continue to cover the pie and along the sides until you have the pie completely covered in the cake batter. Now this is going to bake for quite a long time. It's going to be about 70 minutes in a 350-degree oven. I'm going to repeat this exact same process with the apple pie. So I've put my base of my chocolate into my 9-inch round pan as well. Now I'm pairing the chocolate with the cherry pie, so I just thought that those two flavors would go well together. Now you can make like I said, any kind of flavor of cake that you want to and pair it with your pie. So that's fine if that works out there. You're just gonna cover it all up in cake anyways. This is gonna pop into the oven as well at 350 degrees for the same time as the apple and the pumpkin. 70 minutes, let it bake. I've put my 6 cups of whipping cream into my mixer, and I have it with the whisk attachment. What I'm going to do now, after my cakes have cooled, I'm going to be icing them with the whipping cream. So I'm going to whip it until it's nice and stiff. So my whipping cream is nice and stiff. Now, what you can do that's an optional addition is to add a little bit of icing sugar. What that's going to do is it's going to sweeten the whipping cream up just slightly, and it's also going to allow it to be stabilized, which will make sure that it stays stiff on the cake. So I'm just going to put in about 1/4 cup to 1/2 cup, that's all you need, into here, and then continue to whip it, and then it'll be ready to put into a piping bag. Have my whipping cream in my piping bag, and I have my first vanilla cake here on a cake board. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to be piping a thin layer of the whipping cream, and I'm going to smooth it out with my knife. This is just going to be a little layer in the middle of the next cake. Once the whipping cream is on the first layer, we're going to take our chocolate layer and put it on next. And then repeat with the whipping cream on top and smooth that out as well. Moving on to our third and final layer of cake, I'm going to put this one up on top, and I'm going to repeat the icing process just to give everything a little bit of a thin base. So I'm just going to put a little bit on here and smooth it out. And I'm also going to smooth out anything that's along on the sides, and then I'm going to show you how to pipe the finished look. So for the effect on the outside of the cake, what I'm going to be using is this Ateco 827 tip. Now it's an open star tip, and it's you could use any sort of open star or really any tip for this technique. So what I'm just doing is I'm just squeezing the tip like that and making kind of the look of a flower. So what we're going to do is cover the bottom first and then gradually work our way up until the entire sides of the cake is covered in these little whipping cream flowers. Now that I have the sides of the cake covered, I'm going to start applying my fruit border. So I've just cut up the fruits that I was showing you earlier on, and I'm just going to apply a little border alternating the ones that I have here. And obviously you could use any kind of fruit that you want to, like whatever you've got in season or whatever you've got handy for you. So I finished the bottom border and I started on the top, so you guys saw a little bit more of the pattern that's developing instead of a big white blob up here of the whipping cream. So I'm just going to continue on by finishing off with the blueberries around the outside. And then, as usual, I'm going to slice into the cake so you can see what this triple layer pies in a cake looks like. So there you go, everybody, how to put a pumpkin pie, cherry pie, and an apple pie inside of a triple layered cake. As you can see on the sliced piece, all of the cake slices have a lovely little slice of pie, so you can have your cake and pie together in this cake. Thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe to the channel, and if you liked the video, give it a thumbs up, and we will see you all again next time.